Hey guys, it's Miss Brittney. I hope you're having a good day. I miss you. I've come to our classroom to read a story today. This story is called The Fox and the Springtime Blossoms. And I also have some vocabulary words that we're going to talk about as we read this story today. The vocabulary words we're going to look at today are buds of flowers, south, orchard, and blossoms. All right, buds of flowers. Flowers before they bloom. Okay, so buds of flowers are the flowers before they actually come out into a full flower. South is a direction on a map. The orchard is a piece of land planted with fruit trees, so it's a place where fruit is growing. And blossoms is a flower on a tree or a bush. Okay, so those are some words you're going to hear today as I read this story titled The Fox and the Springtime Blossoms. And that's the front of our story that we're going to read today. The Fox and the Springtime Blossoms. The Fox and the Springtime Blossoms. The author of this story is Julia Rawlinson, and the illustrator is Typhini Beek. And on the title page, you can see the fox with some flowers and birds and lots of things that you might see in the spring. The woods were full of the chirping, bustling, sing-song sounds of spring. Fletcher bounced along with his nose in the air, sniffling the just burst buds of flowers and playing chase with butterflies, with his head spinning with sights and sounds. All right, what season do you think it is? What season do you think it is right now? That's right, it's spring. And we can see in this illustration that there are flowers and butterflies and lots of things that you might be seeing outside right now in the spring. He tumbled happily down the hill into the sunny orchard, but when he picked himself up from the ground, he couldn't believe his eyes. Wow. A soft breeze danced through the branches, carrying snowy flakes. Snow so late in spring, thought Fletcher. It will be too cold for the buds and butterflies. There's no time to lose. What does Fletcher think is happening? What does he think is going on right now? That's right, he thinks it's snowing. Is that really snow? No, it's not snow, is it? Looking for someone to tell, he trotted back up the hill and passed a pair of birds cuckooing on a branch. You've flown to your summer home too soon, Fletcher cried. I've been down to the orchard and there's more snow on the way. Then we should fly back to the south, they called. But first we must tell Porcupine. He's come out of his bed of leaves. He needs to snuggle back down or he will freeze. Fox thinks it's snowing, doesn't he? Fletcher and the birds found Porcupine stretching and scratching. There's snow on the way, panted Fletcher. I saw it in the orchard. It will be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south, and you must hide away. Then I should crawl back into my bed, snuffled Porcupine sadly. But first we must tell Squirrel that he needs to hunt for food. He's eaten his winter store of nuts. He'll need to find some more. So what does Porcupine do? That's right. Porcupine says he needs to tell Squirrel to hunt for more food, doesn't he? That's right. Because Fox thinks it's snowing. Fletcher, the birds, and Porcupine found Squirrel scampering after sunbeams. Snow is blowing. Snow is blowing in from the orchard, gasped Fletcher. It will be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south. Poor Porcupine must go back to bed, and you must find some food. You're right. I've eaten my spring feast, said Squirrel, and all my stores are gone. But before I hunt for more, we need to tell the rabbits to munch as much grass as they can before the snow falls. Fletcher the birds and Porcupine and Squirrel hurried off again. The rabbits were rolling down the hill next to their burrow. Stop playing, cried Fletcher. There's snow blowing in from the orchard. It will be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south. Poor Porcupine must go back to bed. Squirrel needs to find food. And you must munch more grass. Before we eat, said the rabbits, staggering dizzily to their feet. See the rabbits? Do you see rabbits in spring? Yes, we do, don't we? Let's go play in the snow. So the rabbits hoppity, roly-poly plopped down the hill through the woods. They were chased by Squirrel, Porcupine, the birds, and a bouncy, full of importance fox, all the way to the orchard, where the ground was white. What do you think they're going to find on the ground? They think they're going to find snow, right? What do you think they're going to find? The ground was white with blossoms. Wow. Blossoms bobbing in the branches. Blossoms blowing in the breeze. Blossoms blanketing the grass. And not a snowflake to be found. Those are blossoms, not snow, you foolish fox. The animals cried. Fletcher's blinked and rubbed his eyes, feeling silly. But then the animals scooped up pawfuls and clawfuls of blossoms from the ground and covered them in a tickly shower of fluttering white petals. Fletcher and his friends ran and played between the trees until at last they all collapsed in a blossomy, soft white heap. They're fluttering, right? They were fluttering white petals. Can you show me fluttering with your fingers? Flutters down, right? The petals were fluttering down. That's right. Good job. Then the birds fluttered back to their branches with beakfuls of blossoms to line their nest. Porcupine snuffled off up the slope, his quills dotted with tiny white petals. Squirrel went chasing up and down trees after snow white petals dancing in the breeze. And the rabbits bounced back up the hill with blossoms to brighten their burrow. But Fletcher just lay smiling in his soft bed of petals, watching the blossoming branches bobbing overhead. And that's the end. All right, I want you to think about at home, what did the animals have to do to get ready for spring? And see if you can write about that with your family tonight. Write a sentence about what did these animals have to do to get ready for spring, so we can flip back through our book and see what some of the animals had to do to get ready for spring. What did the birds do? Do you remember? It says they flew to their summer home too soon, so they had to fly back south, right? So they flew to their summer home in the spring, didn't they? And Porcupine? Right. He was crawling back into his bed, wasn't he? Good job. So the animals had to get ready for spring, didn't they? And the squirrel. So see if you can write about that with your family tonight, how the animals have to get ready for the spring. Okay? All right, that's the end of our read aloud today. Thank you, guys.